Hey guys, it's Mr. White, and it's week 3. It looks like this is going to go on a little bit longer, a few more weeks. So tonight I wanted to, on Superhero Day, since it's Digital Spirit Week, read you a story, a nighttime story, like I'm doing with Luke tonight. Can you say hey to the kids in class?
Hey.
All right, we're going to read a story. Good job, man. We're going to read a story from his favorite book, 5-Minute Marvel Stories, and the one he chose tonight was about Spider-Man. Or a different Spider-Man than we're used to. And it's called The New Spider-Man in Town. Miles Morales is a student at Midtown High School in New York City. He's happy and has a thirst for knowledge, especially science. He was a young boy just like any other, working hard and doing the right thing. But something soon happened that changed his life for good. While in chemistry class, Miles noticed that his good friend, Peter Parker, kept sneaking out of school. Miles grew suspicious, wondering if something was wrong with Peter, if he was okay. So one day, Miles followed Peter and watched as he snuck a mask from his bag. But it wasn't just any mask that Peter was sneaking. It was Spider-Man's mask. Miles couldn't believe it. When Peter was leaving school that afternoon, Miles called to Peter, "Hey, Peter, where are you headed?" Peter awkwardly smiled back and said, I've got an assignment at the Daily Bugle. I've got to go." Miles didn't believe that either. He followed Peter to a giant lab. Inside the lab, Miles lost the track of Peter, and he didn't notice the genetically altered spider slowly spinning a web and dropping down towards him. Ow! The spider bit Miles right in the hand. Miles knocked it off. He knew instantly that this was no ordinary spider bite. Instead of getting sick from the spider bite, Miles soon discovered that it gave him super spider powers. "I've got to figure out what this means. What should I do?" He ran home fast. Think, Miles told himself. If Peter really is Spider-Man, then what did he do? Miles searched for articles about Spider-Man. Okay, so you get your powers. Check. Then what? You make a costume and you go stop bad guys. That seems obvious. With that, Miles created his own spider costume and leapt into the city.
Hi.
"I can run on walls," Miles yelled as he scaled the side of a building. He was enjoying discovering his powers, and climbing walls wasn't the only one. Miles soon discovered he had an amazing spider sense that warned him of danger. What in the world? Miles couldn't ignore the ringing in his head. That's when he noticed the burglars running behind him. In that instance, what started off as fun became very scary. Miles had a really big decision to make. Should he run from the danger and stay safe? Or should he use his new powers to stop the villains? What do you think he does?
He uses new powers to stop the villain.
Well, I hope so. Let's see what happens.
Why do they have the same eyes?
I don't know. Let's see. Miles realized that if he was going to call himself Spider-Man, he was going to have to act like Spider-Man. Much to his surprise, Peter Parker, the original Spider-Man, was already on the case. One of the criminals was getting away, but Miles was able to help. "Hold on, helmet head," he announced. "The only place you're racing off to is prison." Miles had powers to match Peter's and was easily able to catch the thief. That's right. It wasn't until the action was over that Miles realized how much danger he was really in. He climbed to the top of the building and wanted to fade away, which is exactly what he did. This was a brand new power, one that Peter didn't have. He camouflaged himself into his surroundings.
Peter doesn't just disappear.
Yeah, Peter can disappear, but Miles Morales can. Peter swung up to where Miles had been. "Miles, is that you?"
How can he disappear?
I don't know. I guess it's one of the powers that the spider had when it bit him. Now,
Wait, I think I know. Last time Peter came to he had some kind of strange superpower.
Okay. "I recognize your voice," Peter said. "Believe it or not, I know what you're thinking. I went through the same thing when I first got my powers." Miles was stunned. "You did?" "Sure I did," Peter said. "My Uncle Ben used to tell me that with great power, there also comes great responsibility." Peter tossed Miles something from his costume. "Here, you can have these extra web shooters for now," said Peter. "Whoa, cool," Miles said while testing out the web shooters. Miles looked up to Peter, figuring out what he should do. "Maybe I can follow you around for a few days. See how it goes." There's Miles with his new web shooters and him hiding in the wall.
Uh-oh.
I know, uh-oh. "I think that's a good idea, but you can't go around calling yourself Spider-Man, Miles. That name's taken." "Oh, I'm definitely Spider-Man," Miles said, smiling again. The two swung off together to patrol the friendly neighborhood. But it wasn't long before Peter got them quite into a pickle, surrounded by some of the nastiest villains in New York City. And that's when Miles knew he was born for this.
He was born for this.
He was born for this.
Who was born for this?
Miles.
No.
See, he's fighting everybody. The battle roared while Peter kept poking fun at the rampaging villains. Miles was terrified. "How do you keep joking in the middle of a fight?" he asked Peter. "Aren't you scared?" That's when the rhino grabbed Peter by the neck. Peter couldn't let out any other words, funny or otherwise. Miles turned and let loose his newest and last power, another power that Peter didn't have at all. Miles would later call it his Venom Strike, and it put Rhino down for the count. Peter was safe. And it looks like his new power, he's shooting electricity. Miles and Peter wrapped the baddies up in maybe a little more than the usual amount of sticky stuff. Peter said, "Come on, if you're not going to change your name, you've got to learn how to crack jokes. It's part of the job. Give it a try." Miles scratched his head, thinking while looking down at the webbed up villains. Then he said, "Looks like you've got yourselves into a sticky situation, evildoers." Peter sighed. "Wow, somebody call the doctor. You have no funny bone." Well, it looks like we have two Spider-Men now, Peter Parker and Miles Morales. I hope you enjoyed the story tonight. We'll read some more stories this week and throughout the next few weeks. But I'm getting tired. Luke, are you tired?
Never.
Well, that's about right. He's never tired. But I am. So, guys, have a great night. And when you're done listening to this, go ask your parents or grandparents or whoever it is you're staying with tonight if they can read you a story. All right? Good night. We'll talk to you later.